What's up guys, Travis here, coming back to you from my little home office. Wanted to do something a little bit different tonight. For those of you that don't know, I was a fly fishing guide for like 11 years or so. I started when I was 16 years old, and I was a guide all the way through college. After college, I moved out west and guided some more, and then, kind of got sucked into the corporate world. So I like to think that I have a lot of experience in this field. I always recall having conversations with clients on the river, especially like when fishing is kind of tough. You still have to, find common ground and build rapport, and you still have to entertain, right? Like you still have to make sure that your client has a good time. So I always found myself having conversations about bucket list fish. So many people have these massive lists of what they want to accomplish in their life, but what about us as anglers and fly anglers especially? There's so many species of fish that get overlooked when you look at fly fishing, simply because you think it's unattainable or it's just not feasible. And yeah, some of it is really difficult due to expenses, right? Like getting somewhere to make that happen. So what I wanted to do was, I'm going to give you my bucket list of fish that I would like to catch on the fly. This is going to be sectioned out in tiers, just like you've seen all these YouTube videos. Tier. We've got S, A, B, C. I'm not going past C because I don't think there is such thing as a bad fish to catch on the fly. I think all fish are freaking awesome to catch on the fly. So I'm only going to C because when I think like a C tier fish, I'm thinking like simplicity, ease of catch. A lot of the higher tier fish are going to be, kind of your more like remote and, true bucket list fish that I think about and I would like to catch in my lifetime. And I have, set that goal for myself. All right, guys, so we're gonna start at the bottom. And when I say in the bottom, we're gonna start in the C tier, okay? So it doesn't mean these fish are bad or they're not fun to catch on the fly, because believe me, they are. I've caught them, they're a blast. I'm putting these in C tier simply because there are a bunch of them. They are very easy to find. Honestly, they're great entry level, if you will. So I'm putting these in C tier. First, we're gonna start with crappie or perch, panfish, whatever you may call them. What I'd like to honestly do is just generalize perch like crappie. I'd like to generalize them with panfish. So anything you can kind of cook in a pan. So a bluegill, a redbreast, a pumpkin seed, a warmouth, a crappie. Those are panfish to me. So, all right. So again, this is kind of where I think people are gonna get really mad at me, especially if you're a seasoned fly angler. I don't blame you, honestly, I really don't. The only reason this species is falling into a C tier is because, I guess, of the lack of appeal that a lot of people have for this fish, a trash fish, or, something that, oh man, I caught this and look how ugly it is, right? The thing they don't know is they fight incredibly hard. A lot of times they're called the poor man's bonefish, and that's a carp. Carp on the fly are so much fun. I love catching carp on the fly. I think, especially like midsummer, when literally it's so hard to catch fish. Bass are deep, striper are deep, trout, you don't really want to stress when it's this hot because there's, not a lot of oxygen in the water, but these carp, they love it. They love it. They will be in a foot of water on a 105-degree day, just basking in the sun, waiting to eat. It's amazing. But I'm putting them at a C simply because of their, I guess, reputation. This has nothing to do with the fun factor. It just has to do with so many people have labeled them as a trash fish. And, that's just the nature of the beast. So, my last C tier fish is going to be common variety bass. So largemouth, smallmouth, whew, man, I want them a little bit higher, but I'm again gonna generalize here. So just your common bass, your largemouth, your spots, your Coosa bass, your Chattahoochee bass. I'm gonna pile them all together simply because of how prolific they are in my area. So this is my list. Remember that, this is my list. This could vary anywhere in the world. That's the last C tier fish on my list. Moving into our B tier fish. Again, I think I have some controversial picks here, honestly, because all three of the species I've put in the B tier are so much fun to catch. They are an incredible sport fish. I put them in there because I feel like we're getting, kind of up into that, like, not mythical range, but that, like, oh man, I've got to travel for that. I've got to actually spend money and go chase that fish. I can't just, walk out in my backyard and catch it, right? So first is snook. I am Mr. Snook. I love catching snook on the fly. It is, man, it's top three. I gotta be honest, it's top three. They are so much fun. They are so eager to eat. You just have to travel for it. So especially if you live, in the mountains like I do, right? You don't have snook. You can't go just catch a snook. If you lived in Miami, Florida, it's very, very easy to catch a snook. So there's, weights and balances here. My second fish, again, a lot of people are gonna be like, whoa, dude, are you serious? But it's a redfish, so a red drum. Now, I'm categorizing these fish into two different levels because I feel like if you go to Venice, Louisiana, and you're catching these massive bull reds, that's an A tier experience, 100%. But you also have the ability to go, to St. Simons Island, Georgia, and you can catch rat reds like this all day long on shrimp, all day long. Rat reds, sea trout, as many as you want. So I'm gonna leave them in the B tier just because I think that's fair. They're very prolific. You can pretty much catch them from Georgia to Texas, I guess. I mean, you can catch them pretty much anywhere. All right. Next on the list, here's some controversy, the striped bass. Now, I know people that have traveled hundreds, if not thousands of miles to catch a striped bass on a fly rod. I just so happen to be lucky enough to live very near a reservoir in the state of Georgia that has landlocked striped bass. So suffice it to say, I am extremely jaded. Very jaded to striped bass. I feel, honestly, I hate to put them in a B tier because I feel like that's definitely an A tier fish. Fight, charisma, such a mean fish. And they have that, they have that saltwater mentality, especially here, they have that saltwater mentality in a sodium-free environment, and they're so mean. It's very few fish that fight like saltwater fish that are actually freshwater fish. Sorry, I know that's very confusing, but it makes sense in my head. So I've got striped bass as a B tier fish. Don't shoot the messenger. My list. You can change yours. All right, guys, we're moving into the A tier. There are a few fish in this tier that I haven't caught. There's a few that I have, but there's a few, honestly, that I haven't as well. So first fish species in the A tier, I'm going grayling. I think they are the coolest fish. They've got that sail-like dorsal fin. They're incredibly delicate fish, and the watersheds that they survive in are also incredibly delicate. Grayling has always been on my bucket list, and it's still on my bucket list. I've yet to catch one. Really hoping that I can make that happen because it is, in fact, on the bucket list. Second to that, never caught this species either, but is bull trout. And I feel like it's kind of the same reason that grayling is on this list. They're, a different kind of fish, if you will, because grayling are delicate. They'll come up and, just demolish a dry fly, and a bull trout is kind of a large predatory trout that, I mean, honestly, people that go out west to catch these cutthroat and these rainbows, that's what the bull trout eat. So you can be out there throwing, a 6 or 7 inch streamer and catch a bull trout. You're not going to catch a grayling on that. So I'm kind of boxing them together because they're both on my bucket list and I've caught neither one. So definitely looking forward to getting after them. The next fish on the A tier list, a lot of you guys have probably caught. I haven't been lucky enough to accomplish this feat yet, but it's the gray ghost. It's the bonefish. What more can I say about them? They're fast, elusive. When you hook them, I mean, you're talking about blisters on your fingers the way they run. It's crazy how powerful that little fish is. And I say little fish, they get, 8, 10, 12, whatever pounds. That's a big bonefish. That really is a big ass bonefish. I would say they're definitely one of the most popular and favorite saltwater species in the world. So we actually have a species of this next fish in my home waters, and that would be the brook trout. Now you hear brook trout and you think trout, but in reality it's actually a char. And the next fish on the list is the Arctic char. They're a cold water salmonid, way up north. They're not here. They're not in Georgia. They're way, way, way up north. They have the most incredible colors. They get this, just fire orange color, almost bright red at times. Extremely hard fighters, and it's just such a cool fish. And I want to put them in the A tier simply because, one, you have to travel to find them. They're not, extremely prolific in areas where most people live, if you will. So they're going in the A tier, and I'm not ashamed of it. And I don't think you guys should be either. Comment down below if you ever caught an Arctic char. All right, next on the list is another species that you absolutely have to travel for, unless you live, honestly, in South America. So I don't have them here. I live in Georgia, as I've mentioned, and that is the golden dorado. Now, some of you may not know what a golden dorado is. You hear golden dorado, or you just hear dorado, you may think like mahi-mahi, but completely different fish. Golden dorado, they are so gnarly. They are an extremely aggressive freshwater predator, native to South America. They're bright yellow. I mean, well, I say yellow. They're gold, but they're bright gold. It looks like looks like Fort Knox kind of swimming through the river when you see pictures of them. When you see pictures or videos of them, they're known to get extremely aerial and acrobatic when you hook them, especially on a fly rod. They just come barreling out of the water, jumping, head shaking, flips, everything. They've got gnarly teeth too, so they're extremely hard to catch. So that's kind of why you find these guys in the A tier. I've never caught one, and they are certainly, again, on my bucket list. So A tier, golden dorado. We have made it to the S tier, the elite, the ultimate species that are on my list. The first fish in the S tier, and these are actually in order from, we'll say, S minus to S, top tier, elite, ultimate goal. First in the S tier for me, and I've been lucky enough to catch one of these on the fly, and it really was one of those incredible experiences. And I don't want to say it was life-changing, but it was so satisfying because I had tried for so long to catch one and finally made it happen. And that's a muskie. There's a video, I'll link it right here. Of my first muskie on the fly, and it happened this year, 3 months ago in Ontario, Canada. And it was so cool. It was so cool. It was kind of a culmination of, it's like 7, maybe 8 years that I had been trying to catch a muskie on a fly rod, and I finally accomplished that task this year. So this fish, it's still on my bucket list because I want to catch more. It was so freaking awesome. Of course I want to catch more. So even though I've caught one before, it's still on my list, and it's S tier because they're so hard to catch. Fish of 10,000 casts, they're called that for a reason. So muskie is our S minus. So they're at the bottom of the S tier, okay? Moving on. This is a fish that I've yet to catch, and it's absolutely on my list simply because I love the pursuit of catching fish on the fly rod. I love the hunt, if you will, and that fish is a permit. I've never caught a permit. I've caught some of their cousins, small pompano, things like that in Florida. I've never been fortunate enough to catch a permit. They are, in my opinion, they're one of the most elusive species that you can target with a fly rod. Permit definitely on my list, and I think well deserving of an S tier ranking here. All right, guys, we are getting into the ultimate of the ultimate fish species at this point that you can target on a fly rod. There's one species in here especially that I really, really want to target, and we'll get to that in just a second. It's actually at the top of my list. But moving into kind of the middle of my list here is the tarpon. I've caught tarpon on fly. They're incredible. It's the meanest minnow in the world. It's insane. They're called the Silver King for a reason. That fish is incredibly strong. It's like spiritual. You're dancing with that fish, and oftentimes, depending on where you are, that fish on the end of your line weighs more than you do, which is crazy. I wear tarpon on my arm at all times. I always will. It's honestly, man, do I dare say it? Yeah, tarpon is my favorite species to target on the fly rod. There's something about them. I don't know what it is, but they're prehistoric. They're a dinosaur, and it's so cool. They're a huge minnow, and you can find them in so many places. They're such a cool fish. So well deserving of S tier. They're with the most elite fish in our ecosystem, in my opinion. All right, guys, top two right here. Here we go. It was kind of a toss up between these two for me personally. They are vastly different. It's 180-degree polar opposite of each other, and the cards just kind of fell where they did. But second to the top is going to be the taimen. For those of you who don't know what a taimen is, they are the largest salmonid in the world. They're native to Mongolia. They are absolutely massive, massive fish. You think about the largest trout you've ever caught, and just multiply that by a factor of like 100, literally. They are absolutely incredible fish. And a lot of people, you know, and really honestly, I don't disagree. They're kind of like the ultimate prize in fly fishing, simply because of how far you have to go, the reaches you have to go to target and find them. They're very difficult to catch. They're very difficult to find. But when you do, man, like, what an accomplishment. It's the wolf of the water for a reason. What an accomplishment. So taimen, number 2 in the S tier. Obviously well deserving. One of the most beautiful, amazing fish in the world. All right, it's time for number 1. Maybe controversial, but not for me, not even close. It's something that I will do in my lifetime. I absolutely will catch one in my lifetime, irregardless of where I have to go, what I have to do. I will make it happen. Number 1, hands down, S tier, bucket list fish for me is the GT, the giant trevally. What a gangster. Such an incredible fish. Probably one of the most powerful saltwater fish in the world. So for you guys in Florida who may have caught some jacks, something like that, they're cousins. They're really close. And you know that jacks pull incredibly hard. But think about a GT in the surf in, 3 or 4 feet of water. Oh my gosh, I just can't. Every time I think about them, my brain just goes to scrambled eggs, because I just can't imagine. I can't imagine a cooler, more just badass fish to catch on a fly rod. Nonetheless, I see guys catch them, conventionally with big poppers and stuff like that, but on a fly rod in the surf, it's you against him. And they win 95% of the time. Hell, 98% of the time they win. But that 2%, when I win, I cannot even imagine. I guarantee you, when I have my first GT in my arms in the surf, I'll cry. Yeah, I'll shed a tear, 100%. With that said, that's my list. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I know my list probably varies a lot from what yours may be, or what people what their list might be. But again, comment down below. Let's kind of collaborate on this list. This is just kind of what I put together as far as things that some I have done, some I haven't done. But the way I kind of ranked it is things that I would do again, like the Muskie. I think that's absolutely deserving of an S tier, simply because it was one of the most amazing experiences of my life, and I want to do that again. So that to me is in the S tier. Thousands of other species that could have made it onto this list, they just didn't for me today. Who's to say next year they won't be on this? So thank you guys so much for watching, and I really hope you did enjoy it. Please like, subscribe, drop a comment down below, shoot me your list. I'm really curious to see like what other people out there, what their list looks like. I feel like there's a lot that we can take away from each other in our list. Like maybe you have an idea of a bucket list fish that I didn't even think about. Let's collaborate on this whole thing. Hope you guys have a great week, and I will talk to you soon. Looking forward to it. Cheers, guys.